Diving a little bit into AI and what we think about here, we think about three kind of buckets of capability in this space. One is around system optimization and control, resource optimization, and then adaptive experiences, or how do I help a human? If I think about system operations and control, these are things that we experience in agribusiness. If I think about a crop example, certainly the most advanced combines in the world have reinforcement learning that are optimizing that harvest experience for the grower. It may be changing the platform head on the fly. It may be adjusting the internal components for grain loss. It's adapting on the fly. We have the same examples. I'll share a few in manufacturing assets, which are very interesting around teaching systems. So that's the first thing that, as an ag engineer, that's near and dear to my heart of optimizing machinery and equipment in many cases. The second one around resource optimization, all the activity we see in the agribusiness space, when you think about nitrogen models, hybrid selection models, these are all about optimizing, operations and systems. And certainly some of the leaders in that space in the agribusiness industry are pushing the limit when it comes to those things. And then the last, which I think is frankly the most interesting in many cases, is adaptive experiences. So how can AI augment humans? How can AI help that frontline worker that's working to repair maybe a robotic milker on the farm, or perhaps a planter that's having trouble? How can AI assist that human being in that repair scenario? There's a lot of interesting things to drive outcomes, even management decisions, right? As a grower or agribusiness. When we think about the journey for many of our customers, we see this pattern of 3 steps in the process. Number one, around getting connected. So how do I create the data pipelines, the data streams, to begin to gather information about my operation, about my business, throughout my business in a somewhat ubiquitous way, just to create points that may be blind spots in terms of data. This concept of getting connected is extremely just fundamental. And we've seen this evolve in agribusiness at a pretty astounding pace. One thing to touch on connected, we tend to think about, oh, we don't have connectivity on the farm. The pace of change in connectivity, I'll give you, for one example, Starlink with partnership with Elon Musk, SpaceX, they actually have 800 satellites already deployed. There's beta activity. You can sign up if you get approved for $99 a month to have high speed, highly reliable satellite-based connectivity for $99 a month. Amazing. They're 800 into a 14,000 satellite network that will be deployed. This barrier we faced in agribusiness over the past year around the world, or even within your own facility when you roll over the hill, it's about to be removed, and that could light up all types of opportunities in this connected space. The second area around predictive, this is all about gaining wisdom on the patterns that might exist. Can I detect when a bearing will fail? Can I detect when that crop is under drought stress, or maybe more importantly, that in an irrigation scenario, that crop has received too much water and now it's impacting yield? Those are all predictive outcomes in nature, and really the second step, as we see on this journey to cognitive. When we think about cognitive, this is where my definition around the AI, it's teaching, learning, self-reinforcing, gaining insight about how systems should be tuned, highly impactful feedback loops, creates some cognition about how the system should operate. Perhaps what adjustments or changes should go into the system. So that's the third step. And many businesses, they're at various stages of this. In some businesses, they could have cognitive capability in one part of their business, yet still on paper and not connected yet in other parts of their business. So, don't think about this as all in for a particular agribusiness. It's think about it as certain outcomes, certain aspects of the business may move through this continuum at different paces.